Right, so here we are then for another F1 My Team episode. This one, round number 6 for the Canadian Grand Prix, and things are looking pretty decent heading into this race. First of all though, as always, if you haven't seen the previous episode, go check it out. I'll leave a link up in the top right for Azerbaijan, the returning Baku race, which we haven't done in quite a while, so go check that one out, link in the top right. If you've got to enjoy this one, leave a like. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes and subscribe for more. As in the background you can see me taking care of some business, as we have a marketing department event regarding the F1 game, and also taking care of some activities. Now, before we jump into the weekend, I want to quickly show you the engine wear heading into this race. After 5 races so far, 5 race weekends, we're looking pretty decent actually, and I think we're going to be fine in terms of wear. The control electronics might be one of the parts that struggles to make it, but besides that, the rest is looking pretty good. And also, what's looking pretty good is the weather forecast, which is dry this weekend. So, with that said, we jump into Q1, into qualifying, and we're going to get straight down to business and see if we can have another strong weekend. Because right now, as you guys know, spoiler warning, we are leading the championship. The last race in Baku was quite poor for Verstappen, so we gained quite a lot of points over him, and we're looking pretty decent right now in that championship. So, yeah, heading into this qualifying, just going through the setup, making the adjustments and making sure that everything looks good, and of course the usual kind of brake and brake pressure settings, also tire temperatures as well, making sure they're all in the sweet spot. With that said, we get onto the track and get underway. So Q1, I want to try and get through on one set of tyres if possible. That would be the ideal scenario here. On our first lap, we just cut a little bit too much of that chicane through 3 and 4 and end up invalidating. I went ahead and completed the first 2 sectors just to give myself a delta reference. So you can see here, we were a tenth and a half down on my second lap. I found quite a bit of time through the, I think the 7-8 chicane, and now into the hairpin. You can see this is where on my previous run I backed off, and now we're running at full speed, so we're gaining naturally quite a bit of time. The lap's been pretty decent, but like is the case of Canada, the real key thing here is the final chicane. You could be on a great lap, but the final chicane is where the lap is, you know, made or lost. In this case, we took it pretty safe, as it is only Q1. Across the line, we set a 1 minute 5.8, and we go P3. So decent enough lap. You can see here once everyone set their lap times, we're P3, purple in sector 1, and we've got about a tenth and a half margin over P10, and obviously a further margin, a bigger margin further down. So yeah, we're going to take a chance and not go back out in Q1, and luckily for us, it worked out okay. You can see we finished in the end in 8th place. The fastest time by Lando, 1 minute 5.5 in the Mercedes, top of the charts, and yeah, Gasly also through in the top 10. So that's it for Q1. We're now going to move into Q2, and again, similar to Q1, I want to try and get through if possible on one set of tyres. Now, we have the reference lap time to aim for from Q1, which was a 1.5.8, which is what I done, and a 1.5.5 from Lando Norris. So, starting the lap, very nice and clean final chicane to set up the lap properly. Down towards the first corner, on the anchors, 4th gear, lots of inside curb to open up turn 2. Short shift, try to get a good exit here, which is very, very important as you power up towards turn 3 and 4. Lots of curb again, trying to carry that mid-corner speed as we end sector 1. And we start off by attacking turn 5 in sector 2. Lots of inside left curb to open up the right. Use the runoff to really make sure you get as much straight line speed as possible. The arcs open as we go into 7 and 8. Right, left, clunk over the curbs again, as that is the only way around here to maximize lap time. Hence why we're running a 4.8 ride height on the setup like always, because otherwise we'd get underfloor damage. 3rd gear into the hairpin, picking up a little bit of understeer on the second half of the apex as we ran a bit wide, but other than that, it's been actually a pretty good lap. Very good, very clean, and dare I say, near enough perfect to be fair. I was really happy with this one at the time. Now though, the final chicane, braking, nice and aggressive, brushing the wall, and that was a pretty sweet lap to be honest with you. Across the line, 1 minute 5.5, and we go P1 in Q2. That should do the trick for us as we go back to the pits. You can see other lap times around us. We've got nearly half a second over Lando in P10. So I'm going to call my shot and say we're safe. And again, we're not going to go out. We're going to just call it quits for Q2. And it worked out fine. So yeah, top of the charts in Q2, Verstappen in second place, Gasly also into Q3. And yeah, the pace seems pretty decent. I will admit the lap felt really sweet. I don't know how much more time there is, in that, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, we've been successful so far in qualifying. So we've got through Q1 and Q2 using one set of tyres in each session. So that means we get 2 fresh sets of soft tyres and 2 runs in Q3. Now then, tyres up to temp. And we're going to commit to the lap straight away here as we begin our first run. That was turn 1, 4th gear again, brake, lots of inside curb to open up the right as I mentioned before. Trying to get the power down and exit as soon as possible. We have a little bit too much of a drop in mid-corner speed. Other than that though, pretty decent. We absolutely nail the chicane through turn 3 and 4. Sector 1, purple, according to the minimap. 4th gear, lots of inside curb there as we really hook up the line beautifully so far on this lap. It's been a very, very aggressive on the limit lap. 7 and 8, right left again here, lots of inside curb through both, and we get a really good exit as well, and that was absolutely perfect. Towards the hairpin, brake, straight line braking, 3rd gear. This time we don't get the understeer on the second half of the apex like in Q2, and we grip up nicely on the front, so we get a nice clean exit. And so far this has been a near enough perfect lap. That's towards the final chicane though. We're going to try and carry that speed and maximize the lap time. Perfect first apex, but we just run a bit too deep, and you can see my expression there. We just overcommit and carried too much speed. It was a 1 minute 5.4, which is absolutely bonkers, and the best lap of the weekend so far, but it's invalid. So it's all down to this one last lap. Can we find something? We're P10 right now. We need to deliver. We can't invalidate. Let's see what happens.
Minute to go.
And there we go, across the line. It is provisional pole for now, but it's not the best. We only set a 0.5, and in the end of qualifying, Max Verstappen would go on to improve into the low 3s, which is a very strong lap. I do think we didn't quite have that pace. The first run in Q3 was near enough perfect. So, yeah, we just lacked a little bit of pace, I think, maybe like a 10th or so. Verstappen nailing the lap under pressure. And, yeah, it goes to show also how good our Q2 lap was as well, because we've done a 1 minute 5.53 in Q2. So, yeah, that's where for qualifying. We tried everything, we threw the kitchen sink at it, but we just lacked a little bit of pace when it really mattered. Still though, another front row start for us, and we're going to be alongside our rival Max Verstappen. So game on for the race, and things are looking pretty decent. Elsewhere, you can see we've got Gasly in P6. Not the best qualifying, but then again the Ferraris found a bit of form, which was quite surprising actually. Leclerc and Sainz pretty strong in Q3, finding a big chunk of pace, and Norris only P5. Other than that, Ricciardo in 8th place, good for the constructors. It means that he's going to be quite far down, so me and Pierre should have a chance. And yeah, the race should be interesting. 1 stop, 2 stop, we'll see what happens, and we'll see if we can try and usurp Max Verstappen. Anyway guys, that is going to be it for qualifying, the episode of qualifying. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more as we're on the road to 100k. As always, a massive thank you to the channel members for supporting the content. You guys are always there, and I massively appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the race. If you haven't done so already, check out the 2 videos on your screen right now. And yeah, that's it from me today, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.